So you're wanting to start an Amazon business, maybe as a part-time side hustle, maybe to earn full-time income, and you're wanting to know where to start. You're frustrated, maybe you're just curious, and you want to know the basics of, hey, what do I need to just start out doing this thing called Amazon and making money? Well, my name is Justin. This is the Winds of Change channel. I've been selling on Amazon for over 10 years. My first shipment was in 2012 to an Amazon warehouse. It was a lot different then than it is now, and I've done quite a bit on the platform, and I'm going to let you know bare bones what you need to start. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to let you know what I use as a seller who's been on this for a while to make my life a little bit easier and to run the business pretty smooth. There's a lot of conflicting information out there about what you need. Some people will say, hey, you need $1,000 to start. Some people will say you need a pro account. Some people say you won't need a pro account. Some people say you need to start off selling books. Some people say you need to do private label. Some people say you need to do wholesale. All kinds of stuff out there. I'm going to let you know right now exactly what you need to start. You ready for this? Get a pen, get a pencil, get something to write down on, because I want you to keep track of everything you need. Are you ready? Okay. All that was just to build some hype. You don't really need a whole lot. You can really boil this down to 4 things that you need, bare minimum, to start with little overhead. Maybe you just want to get your feet wet. Right, so the first thing you're going to need is a seller account. Now you can go one or two ways. You can go the seller account, which is free, or you can go the pro merchant, which is $40 a month. Now, the reason I recommend going the pro merchant is because if you're going to do this, you're going to want to get enough items to make it worth it. So the pro merchant is $40. It gives you access to the buy box, and there's no per item fee. Okay, so you want to be able to get the buy box because that's primarily what people are going to buy. If there's 10 sellers on something, the one that shows at the top of the Amazon screen on the front page where they say buy now, you want that to be you. Okay, the $40 pays for itself if you're selling 40 items or over. If you don't have the pro merchant account and you just have the free account, you're going to have to pay $1 every time you sell an item on top of the other fees. So if that makes sense, right? So free account, you pay $1 on each item. Pro account's $40, and you don't have to pay per item. So I recommend you at least have $40 a month to start this thing out to get the pro account. It can be done with $0, but you're going to have to pay a little bit more for it, and you're probably not going to get as many sales, honestly, because you're not going to have as much access to the buy box. So that's the first thing. Get you an account. Go on to Amazon, the Seller Central, sign up, and get going. The second thing you're going to need is supplies. And the reason I'm putting this as the second thing is because you don't want to go out and get a bunch of inventory and not have anything to do with it, right? Like you don't want to get sales and then have to be sort of struggling on, hey, what do I need to ship this out? How am I going to get this to the warehouse? How am I going to get this to the customer? So you want to make sure you've got sort of the gears and the wheels or the backbones set up for when you get sales, that you've got it already ready to go, ready to ship out. Now I'm going to leave some links down in the description of some of the most common things that I use that I'm going to mention here, and that'll take you to the Amazon page to go ahead and purchase those and get you going, give you a starting point. Okay, let's cover what you're going to need first if you're going to be fulfilling things by merchant. In other words, you're going to be shipping these from your warehouse or from your home. Maybe you're not ready to take the jump into Amazon FBA, sending a bunch of stuff into the warehouse. Maybe you want to sort of build up your confidence and send some stuff from the house, or maybe you're doing like a mix, right? Like I do a mix. I send most of my inventory FBA to an Amazon warehouse, let them handle it, fulfilling orders, etc. That way I just have to ship it once. And I also do some FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant, where I ship it from the home or the warehouse and get it directly to the customer. So if you want to ship these fulfilled by merchant, you are going to need at the minimum some good bags or boxes to ship your items in. Now it depends on what kind of items you're selling, obviously, but if you're just starting out, say you're selling books or you're selling some food items or some smaller items, I recommend getting some bubble mailers and some poly mailers. 90% of the stuff that I send out goes into a bubble mailer, goes into a poly mailer. You're also going to want to get some boxes. You're going to need various sizes of boxes, and this is really going to depend on what you are selling. Keep in mind, the United States Post Office does offer free boxes, but you have to send it priority mail, which a lot of times isn't the cheapest option. But depending on how much you're paying for other boxes, it may be a good option for you. You can also get boxes from, say, the grocery store, discount stores. I have a ton of boxes that are just of different types, right? From different kinds of items. When the store, say Target or Walmart or wherever you're at, they take their stuff out of the boxes, and a lot of the times you can ask them for them, and they'll give you those extra boxes, and that's going to cut down on costs like a ton, and you'll be able to build up your inventory of boxes pretty easy that way. So fulfilled by merchant, that's pretty much all you're going to need. Poly bags, bubble mailers, and boxes. Starting out, I would think that's going to cover most of what it requires. Now let's talk about some items that you're going to want to consider if you're doing fulfilled by Amazon, where you're sending a bunch of items in a box to Amazon and letting them handle the customer service, the fulfilling of orders, etc. You're going to want some good poly bags. Super, super important. Some items you are going to have to poly bag. It'll be a requirement. If you don't, Amazon will charge you for it. If you don't tell them that you want them to prep it for you, then they're going to do it and they're going to charge you for it, and then they're going to ding your account for saying you didn't send in stuff the correct way. So you want some good poly bags. The ones I've listed below are my favorite. They have really, really good adhesive, and they're already compliant. They have the warning labels on them and everything. You'd be good to go. You're also going to want some bubble wrap. Certain items want bubble wrap, and this isn't a necessity. Most of the stuff I send don't need bubble wrap, but it's nice to have on hand in case something you buy does have bubble wrap or needs it, and then you're not trying to scrounge around figuring out where to go get bubble wrap at. You already have it on hand. You're also going to need boxes to ship your items in. Now, Amazon FBA, you can ship up to 50 pounds at once in boxes that are not longer than 25 inches on any side. Now, I use a lot of medium Home Depot boxes. I use a lot of large Walmart boxes, but you can go to Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot. Those are probably the best ones. Maybe some U-Haul boxes. And then everything that I list for shipment goes into those, and then I ship it out. Then it goes to Amazon, they receive it, and then they take care of the rest. It should go without saying, but I'll mention it here. You're going to want to have a computer for all this, right? So I'm assuming you already have a PC, and you're also going to need a printer. Now, you can do this a couple different ways. You're going to want a printer, one, to print your shipping labels on FBM and FBA, and two, to print out your FNSKU labels, your identifier labels that you have to put on your items when you send them into Amazon warehouse. Again, this is a service that Amazon will do for you, but they're going to charge you, and that's going to add up pretty quickly. So you're going to want to have your own. Now, if you just have a basic printer, you can print these out on like the sheets of paper that come like 8.5 by 11.5, something like that, and they print out. Now that is the hard way. I recommend getting like a Dymo or a Zebra or something like that, and getting rolls of little like tag paper, and then that way you can just print them out one at a time, stick them on there, and it makes it a whole lot easier, trust me. You can get double-sided label paper to print out, because it's going to print out two labels if you send things to FBA, and it's going to print out one, obviously, if you're shipping it right to the customer. So you can get those, or you can invest in a thermal printer, which prints out on 4x6 paper and doesn't use ink or toner or anything, and that's really nice. I personally use a thermal printer for 4x6 and a separate thermal printer for my smaller item tags. Altogether, I'd say you can expect to spend about $100 on shipping supplies, less if you get the free stuff from USPS or boxes from some stores, and you already have a printer and a computer. If you don't have a printer and a computer, that obviously price is going to go up. The third thing you're going to need is a decent cell phone. You're going to need a cell phone with good enough data to be able to search and do research and do inventory searches when you're out sourcing at a store. If you're doing retail arbitrage, you're going to need this really a lot, right? This is going to be your bread and your butter, because you're going to get the Amazon Seller app, which is a free app, and it lets you scan items in store, and it tells you seller rank and profit margin. If all you're doing is OA or some like wholesale or private label or something like that, not going to be as important that you have it. But for retail arbitrage, super important you have a phone that can handle the data that you're going to be using and can run that app. Finally, number 4, this is the juicy part, the part that everybody loves, is inventory. You're going to need to get inventory. Okay. Now, I'm going to be talking specifically about retail arbitrage here. There are other ways to make money on Amazon. I know the most about this one, and it's really going to depend what you're selling as to how much you need. Okay, so if you start off with, say, books or media going to thrift stores, you could take $100 and you could essentially get maybe like 70 to 100 items, and then that could be enough to start your Amazon business, right? You get 70 to 100 items off of a $100 investment. You list them, you sell them, you get the profit, you reinvest, and then you keep growing like that. Now, if you're going to be going to like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ollie's, different kinds of stores like that, then you're going to need to have a little bit more. I don't have an exact number for you. I would recommend about $500 to $1,000, but that is by no means the magic number that you need. Take what you have, take the budget that you have to start investing in this business, and then start investing in the business, and then reinvesting in building that up. Those 4 things are essentially all you need to start. You could do it for cheaper, but realistically, these are going to be the things that you really need to start up your Amazon business. You're going to need a pro seller account. That I highly recommend. It's $40. You're going to need some shipping supplies. Set aside maybe about $100. You're going to need a good phone, good computer, and then you're going to need to go get some inventory. And then that's it. That's what you can do to start. Easy, easy, easy. Don't be afraid to do it. Just get out there, start doing it. The biggest thing is to have your account set up, trying to find items, selling them, sending them in, and making money. That's it. Doesn't take a lot of overhead. That's one of my favorite things about this business through Amazon, is it does not take a lot of overhead at all. Now, let's go through and see what my personal overhead is for the amount of things that I use to run my business as a 10+ year Amazon seller. What do I do to make sure that my business runs smooth? Here's a look at my overhead that I have every month just to run Amazon. This doesn't include money I spend on inventory, obviously. This is just the programs that sort of are the backbone of everything I do. One, I have a pro merchant account. That's pretty obvious. Insurance. Now, starting out, you won't need this, but if there's ever a month where you've done $10,000 or more sales in a month, they're going to require you to have insurance. So my insurance has got about $55 a month. That's pretty reasonable. Inventory lab. I personally, where I'm at in my business, would not do Amazon FBA or Amazon at all without Inventory Lab or something similar. This is a program that allows me to list items efficiently, keeps track of all of my cost of goods, keeps track of my profit, keeps track of a lot of different metrics that I really need to be able to have and to be able to pull that data in an instant. And Inventory Lab does a good job of that. So I run with Inventory Lab. I do have a repricer, not necessary, but when you get enough ASINs and enough items, it's hard to sort of match every time somebody drops a penny or ups a penny or something like that. So I have a repricer that I program to do specific things in specific situations to make my price go up or down. I do have Mile IQ, and I would recommend this as well, not needed, but just in general, if you have a business like an Amazon business, you're going to be driving a lot, and Mile IQ keeps track of it on my phone while I'm like not activating it. It stays active, picks up when I'm driving. I can classify it as business or personal. And at the end of the year, I can run that report so I can claim that deduction on my taxes, which is one of the biggest deductions probably that business owners have. So Mile IQ, really love it. Keepa, this is another program that I would not like to do Amazon without. This tracks data of sales. It tracks price data. It really gives you a good picture of what an item is doing over time, right? How many sellers are on it, how often it sells, and it's really, really essential when I'm making buying decisions. Not needed at the start, but something very affordable to try to go ahead and get started. Wouldn't hurt right off the bat. So the total overhead that it takes me to run Amazon minus the inventory cost is $239. Now, I don't have any employees or anything like that, so this is just me doing this. And 240 bucks is not bad. There are not too many other businesses that $240 is your overhead, right? So for that reason alone, Amazon is a really cool way to make extra money or even start to make a full-time income. So there you have it. I hope that answers some questions. I hope that gives you the confidence to go out and get started, maybe just a better idea of what it's going to take, because I think a lot of times people think it takes more than it does. So hope that helps. Thanks for stopping by. If you like content like this, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, leave comments, ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Until next time, I'll catch you all later.